so happy to present this panel of artisans at the top of their game in the movie business. First off, let me introduce you to the costume designer for Horizon American Saga Chapter 1, Lisa Lovis. And veteran cinematographer, director himself as well. Please welcome J. Michael Murrow. Jimmy. And talk about veterans. This guy has composed so many great scores for so many movies, including this one of his best scores, I think. John Debney. And, well, you all know him, and he is the writer, producer, director, and one of the stars of this movie, Horizon. Please welcome Kevin Costner. Welcome, Kevin and everybody. Two contenders, and Kevin, this is a long-time dream of yours, this project, this movie. I think it started in your head in the late 80s, is that right?
1988. 1988.
Wow, 1988. Long time. Sometimes it takes a long time to get a movie made, I guess.
I've always felt like that. You know, there's this idea that I can do anything I want in town, and maybe that's true on one level, that I can do anything they would like me to do. But sometimes the things you want to do take time. And I just don't fall out of love. And when I feel like I have a secret that I want to bring to cinema, I chase it. It's my own private UFO. I've seen it, and I will never forget it. And I chase it as long as I can. And the fact that I've been able to make two of them, I think I'd be satisfied with my life if this was all I got to do.
Oh, this, as you know, is an American saga in 4 parts. And so far, I have seen the second part as well, which is incredible, by the way. It just really moves the story along, and it just makes you wait for the third part. We're going to talk about that, but we're going to take a look at a scene right now from the film.
You live in this whore?
I don't.
Yeah, you know I don't. I had to ask you. How do you like their idea of porches, huh? Surrounded by trees, and they can't find 10 foot or more planks. They'd rather live in this filth. Huh? You came through working, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah? What at? You don't mind him talking to you?
No. I'm here with some others, trading horses mostly.
Oh, yeah, we had a bit of work around here ourselves. Bit of our own work. You said mostly horses. What does that mean? Means you do something else.
I have, yeah.
Yeah? You work with us, you do more than just horses. You'd have to know the use of that colt, for one. Do you? Use that much this year?
Not the way you mean it.
How else do you use it? Hell, maybe you drive nails with it.
I just mean it's fairly new. Haven't had much need of it yet.
Not yet. Looks like we got ourselves a bad man right here. I'm just saying, anywhere north of here, gentlemen like you, we're who you work for.
I got a job.
Yeah, I know. I'm just telling you. Maybe you heard about a family called Sykes.
No.
Oh, well, why didn't you say something then? Hell, even the ship folks out here, you mentioned that name to them, you know who you had to walk with today. Right now, you don't know.
I just told you.
Yeah, you don't know. Ain't heard of us. Ain't from here. Maybe you meant you're from China.
That's a great scene. You just watch this guy following you, and you're just that cool. We don't know when he's going to explode.
That's the word you use, but in the reality is, we all know what a bully is.
Yeah.
We've all been bullied. We've all been around somebody that's not going to let something go. And I will tell you, I was anything but cool as a character. The idea, he was frightening kind of personality. And if you've seen the movie, you realize he's just come from a bloodlust. So he's a little revved up. But, you know, you get to play characters, movies that are braver than I am. I play characters that are smarter than I am. But in truth, when I'm playing that, I'm a little nervous about who he is. And I'll get us to the gunfight, but I've always loved the walk. What takes you to that gunfight? And that's kind of what we've tried to do during the course of Horizon is let some of these moments really breathe. We'll get to the gunfight, but I'm glad that that scene stands out.
And yeah, it's also, I use the word when we were talking backstage, classic, in terms of the cinematography, the score, all of it. It feels like the classic Western. You are no stranger to Westerns, obviously. But this one, what separates it for you from all the ones you've done before? Because this harkens back to kind of a classic, kind of.
What separates it for me is that we almost have a kind of a national amnesia about the trip, the Great Migration that took 200 years, almost 250 years. We went by inches, and the thing that's missing in most Westerns, because I don't like all Westerns, I disregard most of them that I grew up with, but occasionally when they find a level of authenticity, both in how people are dressed, how they're shot, how they live, what they're saying, they're haunting to me, because it's not a land in Disneyland. It really happened out there. And what was your question?
It was just, how is this different from all the many Westerns you've done? I can name them off the top of my head.
I think I could. But how it is different, I know where I was going with that long thing, and then I lose myself, which is all these Westerns always start with a town. But in Horizon, we start with the beginning, because every town that we know of, when you fly over this country, Native Americans were there first. They lived in the good places, where you could cross the rivers, where you could go. There was some equilibrium that had happened before we came. And so I thought, why don't we talk about the struggle of a town that just emerges? And it doesn't just emerge like a mushroom. In Horizon, it's burnt, it's built up, it's burnt, it's built up. And then finally, there's the great tipping point in all Westerns, which we know, because it never ended well for the Native Americans. There's a tipping point of sheer numbers. And finally, the town of Horizon bumps over the edge, and life will never be the same. It will be what we know it to be, and the loss that's there. And I guess that's why it takes me 4 movies.
Now, you can't make a movie, even though you're a writer, director, producer, star, financier, everything you do to make a movie here, without a group of great artisans. And you've worked with Jimmy Murrow here, who's your cinematographer. I think you might have met him on Field of Dreams when you were, is that right, Jimmy? Tell me your relationship here with Kevin.
Yep, I met the boss on Field of Dreams. I did Steadicam on that one. He told me the story of Dances with Wolves while we were making that film. I did the shot going around Kevin, ease his pain. And anyway, so he's a storyteller. He told me what he's going to do with dances. I went, and that was like a long, beautiful summer vacation for me. I met my wife there, and I worked, and it was just incredible. And from there, he made me a cameraman. I shot. And by the way, there he was on JFK. I was working for Oliver Stone. So you come by each other in life, and there he is. And every now and then, Kevin's back in my life. And I was waiting and waiting and waiting for the call. And I was just like, is he going to call me to go fishing, or is he going to call me to do something?
I think, can I say something about Jimmy for a second? Every DP would like to, I didn't know there were so many people here.
Took off your glasses
Every
to figure that
DP
out?
would love to. I was looking close. Would like to do a Western. Would like to make a movie outdoors. And when they get a chance, oh my God, what I will do with that when I get that chance. So Jimmy Murrow had that chance, but I cut it in half for him. I shot Dances with Wolves in 106 days. We shot Horizon, which is arguably longer, in 52. So what did that mean for Jimmy? It meant he wasn't going to be able to wait for the most perfect light. He didn't have anything, every tool at his beck and call, because we're an independent movie. What he did in 52 days was he lost his ego, and he did what I asked him to do, which is, we have a script. It's our Bible. Shoot it for me. And he sacrificed the idea of, like, my God, most of my colleagues would be waiting for the magic light, for the this, for the that. And he didn't. He was a filmmaker, and he served the story. And I am indebted to you for working at that pace, knowing what he sacrificed. But if you watch Horizon, you will see how beautifully he mounted it and understand that he never had a second.
Yeah.
Thank you, boss.
Yeah. It's a beautifully shot movie. Number 2, chapter 2, is like, it takes it even to another level, Jimmy. And right next to you, the costume designer had big challenges here because you're working with all kinds of different elements here. The women, and this movie also has a huge cast of great women characters, which is not always in Westerns. The military uniforms, the male characters, all of that, the Native Americans. What was your biggest challenge here, Lisa, in doing this movie?
Putting together a team of primarily craftspeople from Los Angeles, amazing union workers who have brought their skills from so many years. This movie was all shot in America, and so we were able to incorporate all of this history of skill. And I think the only reason I was able to get through each day is because of the leadership of Kevin, being organized, and having a team of actors who were there for us, and having a team back at the shop who made everything and created this world. And I think all together, I think it was my team in the shop and my team here, including Jimmy, that made it so enjoyable.
Yeah. I saw some of the jackets that you made, like a jacket for Kevin's character and things. You say, oh, they got a jacket, they pulled it off the rack, it looks old and stuff. No, it took like forever to get it. You like all the stitches, everything inside. It is 100% authentic in the way you've done that, right?
Yeah, we tried to make everything for principals, including all of our Native Americans. We tried to make all the jewelry by very talented American Indian craftspeople. We used a lot of fabrics from Europe, fabrics from India and Thailand, just to get the real cotton or the real wool textures.
I think what's unusual about this setting is that often we're not around people who are looking at our movies as closely as this room does. And this film was made with that in mind. Not for awards, but it was made with the idea that there are people that look closely. And to see that they can cut out the noise when they choose to look at films. What does this film stand for? And I think what was unique is I think a lot of people think they can just do a Western right out of their garage. Well, hell, we get some Levi's, we get some things, we get that. It's not that. But what happens here is a woman who's made her life in movies and has brought every bit of skill that she's learned, stood on the shoulders of costumers before her, and now Lisa brought to this movie.
Yeah. So good. And that same That same thing, that same sentiment would certainly go to Mr. John Debney, who's, I don't know how many scores you've done now, but it's got to be in the hundreds. And this, like I was telling you back there, I think this is one of your best. I'm a massive soundtrack fan. And I was interested to see your inspiration here for the music. One major movie that I loved, How the West Was Won, was one of your inspirations.
It was definitely, that was the one. And I think, quick story, because I know we're tight on time. Kevin called me on Mother's Day a couple years ago, I guess now. And at first my wife said, "Oh, Kevin's trying to reach you." And I thought it was some other Kevin that I knew. And she kept, was very adamant about it. "No, Kevin's trying to reach you." And I said, "Are we talking?" She said, "Kevin Costner." And I had met Kevin on a couple of movies, one in particular, Hatfields and McCoys, which he was brilliant.
He won an Emmy for that.
Yes, he did. And I know we're going to go quick.
Oh, no, that's a lighting problem.
Oh,
they're
is that a
having in
lighting
general.
thing?
That is not, we're not giving you the hook.
That means
To show you my relationship with that, when the lights go out, I'm like still in the swings, and my parents are going, "Get back in the car." Do you remember that? The playground at the drive-in? Yeah. I love that. And then that running up and down, and then running into the wire and being garroted.
well.
But John Debney.
Thank you. I'll just finish the story, and then Kevin and I had like one of the best conversations I've ever had with a filmmaker that day on Mother's Day. And I got off the phone and I said, "I don't care what it takes. I need to do this with Kevin." I left my Mother's Day celebration, went to the studio, and started writing music. And one of the biggest things that Kevin that impressed upon me, which was music to my ears, Pete, was, that's a pun, was I really want some great themes. And I said, "God, that's it. That's what a composer always would love to hear is, give me a theme or two or three or four to express these beautiful characters, this incredible tapestry that you know Kevin has put together." And that's what I strove to do, and we created some themes together, and we ended up in Glasgow, Scotland, recording with a huge orchestra. Kevin brought everybody in, made the orchestra feel like family, and that's how we went. I think we all feel we were working with family, and so I can never thank Kevin enough.
I know we're out of time, but I just have to ask you before we go. So you have now completed the first two. I know all the actors got all four scripts, all four movies, before they even shot the first film. What are your hopes and dreams here to complete this American saga?
Well, I'm hoping, I'm dreaming, I'm meeting all the billionaires that we all hear about. They're all hiding in the shadows. I don't care about them. I care about this moment that we've all taken throughout our lives when it goes dark and the curtain, when we still had them, opens. And so I'm going to make three. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to make it, and then I'm going to make the fourth one. And if you want to say the end at that point, then that's the end. It's a rock I push. I have felt really blessed to have found this business. I thank God that I have. And I've been on my yellow brick road for a while, and it's not over. And I will figure out a way to bring you 3 and 4, because you've gone to 1. And you're going to go to 2, and we're all going to go west together. And I hope we do it in a literate way.
That is great. Thank you, Kevin Costner. Thank you, everybody, for Horizon, and thanks, guys.